This is He Knows Everything, bringing you that heat, that fire. We keeping the foot on the what? On the Knicks. We keeping the foot on the what? On the Knicks. We got an interesting topic, man. Usually around this time today, we normally cover fantasy football. But in life, sometimes things happen, topics manifest themselves to where you just have to talk about it, especially in the nuance, in the heat of the moment, especially with things that are going on. And I wanted to harp and explain to you guys. I've been talking about LeBron, about him being a fake woke as fuck individual since 2020, man. And I told you guys during the COVID time, this guy is not what you think that he is. He's a backstabber. If we're gonna preference it in the la cachets and the la terminology, he's a la backstabber. He acted like he was a friend of Kanye, but he backstabbed him. This is what you call a love frenemy. That is a token la backstabber. Kanye West obviously had some anti-Semitic or anti-Semitism words, so to speak, because you know they always want to use the word anti-Semitic, but really it's Semitic. Um, he basically said that black people, certain black folks, are Hebrews, are black Hebrew Israelites. That is true. If you are studying your scriptures and you really get into the Bible, you'll understand that the Bible is the black man and the black woman's real and true black history. But you have to really take the time out to study. You got to have your King James version, 1611 authorized version. You got to have your Zondervan, compact Bible dictionary. You got to have your Strong's concordance, and then you got to read books about your history. There's some good ones on Amazon, some good authors. I could recommend a few of them to you guys, where they delve in and they talk about and they break down the lineage and they explain to you transatlantic slavery, and they talk about the 500 plus years, how that happened, what took place, how they moved, how they turned the Hebrew Israelites into busybodies and transported them from one place to the other, to Brazil, to what you know as Haiti, which was formerly Hispaniola. But one part is Haiti and then the other part is the Dominican Republic.
Same fucking people.
Exactly. Same fucking people. And you got your Bahamians, you got the Negroes, which is what Ross would be, Black Americans, the tribe of Judah. You have all of these people that are the real Hebrew Israelites. There's not these white carbon copy, pale looking motherfuckers that they say that's in Israel. These are not Israelites. These are what you call Edomites. These people come from Esau. Esau is Jacob's brother. If you do your research, you'll understand that. The white lineage did not come on this earth until Esau manifested itself, until Esau came about, until Esau basically replicated his pool line. Before then, everyone looked like me, Richie Rich, and Ross. And when we had people that came out whiter, you know what they called those people? They called those what you see today albino.
Right.
That's what the Bible was talking about when it said certain people came out red skinned or whatever. It's not because they were white. When it says David came out red, it wasn't because David was white. Certain people just came out when they were born albino looking, but they were black. When you think of an albino person, do you think they're a black? Do you think that they're a white person? No, they're just a black person that has a lighter skin pigmentation, and there were traces of that when Enoch, who is Noah's great grandfather, and you got to read the book of Enoch, um, talked about his great grandfather talked about Enoch, and he described him. He said Enoch, when he saw Noah, Noah came out looking red. Noah came out looking albino. He wasn't white, he was black. So for those people, for his father, who was Lamech, and his father, who was Methuselah, when they saw Noah, because at that time guys lived up until 900 years old and stuff like that. You know, no one saw a day in the eyesight of God is 1,000 years. So no one saw 1,000 years, but Methuselah, being the oldest man, lived 969 years. But you have people living around those times, 900 and some years, which is insane. So great, 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 great grandfathers were able to see their great, 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 great grandsons. But the reason why people were black at that time is because anytime they saw color that seemed abnormal to theirs, they described it in the Bible. That's how you could tell. And they would describe it like he came out when Noah came out. His father Lamech said he came out looking red, like he was kind of amazed but kind of weird. Like, is he okay? Is he sick? That's how they used to look at it. Like they thought you either had leprosy or something like that because you came out not looking black. The original man is black. So when Kanye comes out and explains that our lineage as Hebrew Israelites is black, we're dark people, we're dark skinned, we have melanin in our skin. Why do you think we're the most disenfranchised people? Why do you think we're the most oppressed people? If you read the Bible, you tie everything together, you could understand that. Jesus Christ, when he walked the earth, Yeshua, he was the most disenfranchised person. He was the most persecuted person. You guys have to put two and two together. So Kanye West becomes a billionaire, the highest grossing entertainment billionaire, by the way. We're talking about Kanye West has more money than Michael Jordan, more money than Oprah Winfrey, more money than all these people in the entertainment world. So there's got to be jealousy and envy with that. How did this guy out of nowhere have more money than Jay-Z, all these people? That's insane. That's unheard of. And he's tapping into everything: sports, shoes, music. The Yeezys is the only thing that you can say that's a juggernaut that basically competes and compares with the Jordan brand. I mean, it's insane what this guy's been doing in every genre. Everything he touches is like he's 10, 20 years ahead. He even has a sports agency. This is where now you can start tying it to LeBron James and the hatred and the jealousy and envy. You gotta understand, LeBron has that token Negro mindset that you can't compete with him. You got to be underneath him, and he'll throw little slight jabs. He used to do that shit with Kobe Bryant. He'll throw little slight jabs at you when he's feeling intimidated by you or he's feeling jealous of you and things of that nature. So when it's all said and done, he does that. He showcases that behavior, that jealous behavior, by saying, "Oh, you can't beat Donda Sports. I have a sports agency. I have Clutch Sports. How the hell you have Aaron Donald? Do you guys know football? You know who the hell Aaron Donald is? That was Kanye West's client on Donda Sports. No, he just cut ties with him, right? This is the moves that Kanye West is making with Donda Sports. He had Jaylen Brown as one of his athletes. So this man just touched the sports agency, and these are the names and the shakers that he had. But just because he came out on the shot, and this is how you could tie into why LeBron James is the culprit. Where did he say the anti-Semitic words that they want to say, the inflammatory words that they want to say? He said it on the shop that black people are the black Hebrew Israelites. They are Jews. So LeBron James, well, me and my family, token Negro, doesn't even want to accept the fact that he's a fucking black Jew himself too. Well, me and my family, we don't prescribe to that. We don't believe in that. We don't live our lives that way. So we had to cancel them from the shop. You guys have to understand the rippling effect that the word cancel means when you have someone of LeBron James's token powerful sword to where he can swing the axe of the sword that he has. Because when he swings that sword, it has a rippling effect. I may sit here and tell you the truth about LeBron, but I'm not ignorant to the fact of the power this man has because he has a cult-like following. And when he said he canceled Kanye West, you got to understand, if you understand media, you understand neuro-linguistic programming, you understand brainwashing, you understand words and terminology, you would understand what cancel means from a media perspective. And I'm sorry if I'm riding a little bit on this one because this one got my blood boiling.
Yeah, you good, you good. Just give us time to get in.
It got my blood boiling, so my bad for that. But I'm making this point. I'm gonna finish it. The thing with Kanye is why when you say someone is a black Hebrew Israelite and they identify as a black person, there has to be a stigma of them being marginalized, and there has to be a stigma to where now their pockets get impacted. What did he do? Did he kill someone? Did he commit a crime? That's all I got to say with that, man.
Yeah, exactly, man. So a lot of our people are suffering from residues of a slave mentality. So even if they may know something is real in their heart, they'll still find a way to blame the victim or to blame the black person when the opposer is not black. So it doesn't really matter what transpires between a black person and a white person, or a black person and a white entity or a white source of power. Even if the black person is right, we will find a way to make it the black person's fault, or to find a way to be like on the fence, or find a way to ease the situation, instead of just being speaking the truth. This generation has a problem with what's true. They care about everything else but what's true, how it's presented, the tone of voice you use. You didn't say please. You didn't. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like the black youth is kind of like a bunch of LeBron James, so to speak. Don't take
Exactly.
accountability. Don't take accountability for anything. Passes the blame for everything. Um, I need help. Help me. It's not my fault. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of poetic that it was LeBron James to kick off the whole domino effect, because he's the perfect person to use, because they have used him to raise this generation to be a generation of people who don't take accountability and to oppose black alpha leadership. Who was the guy opposing Kobe? LeBron James. Kobe
Facts.
fans are self sufficient. Kobe fans don't make excuses. Kobe fans are proud to be black, but they also push to be self reliant. They also push to be better black people. LeBron James fans need help. I don't have enough help. It's not my fault. It's their fault. You see where I'm going with this?
Yep.
Everything is a political play with these people. Every black person they put in front of you is for a reason. Every black person they take away from you, i.e., Kobe, or they ostracize, i.e., Kanye West, is for a reason. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna beat it up. I ain't gonna beat up that point too much, man. We could let Richie Rich get in here.
Richie Rich, what you got to say on this, man?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just crazy what's going on with Kanye right now. Uh, Shows you this in this world, man. There's no such thing as free speech, especially when it's geared toward a certain type of people
Right.
in this world, man. And Kanye clearly, said something wrong to the wrong group of people, and now he's paying for it. And all his endorsement deals, he's pretty much lost all the people he represents in his Donda sports agency. Uh, he lost the Adidas deal. He lost Gap. He's pretty much losing everything. Everybody's trying to distance their selves from him because of this. And he spoke on this. People really didn't get what he was trying to say when he was talking about the going DEFCON 3 on the Jewish people, and where he also stated that because black people are actually Jew, he wouldn't
Right.
let the Jews toy with him or blackball him or in any way to oppose his
Exactly.
agenda. And
Exactly.
now these people, they're sending all these celebrities or people of fame to contact Kanye to try to get him, to like dial it down, and Kanye, he pretty much put Puff Daddy on the spot because Puff Daddy was one of the guys that contacted him, and he that told him to dial it down, or who was also critical of his White Lives Matter shirt or something like that. I don't know what he was trying to what he was trying to do with that. Maybe he was trying to I think he was trying to troll more than I don't think he was
I
serious with that White Lives Matter thing. I
nah,
think he was trying to troll people.
nah, I didn't get it at first. And me and he knows we took exception to every, and that's how you know we're not just doing things just out of fandom. We took exception to that. But as I sat back, I had to think about even myself. I have done things under the stream on one end to bring attention to something else. When you think
Hmm.
about it, Kanye saying white lives matter, how is that offensive? Can't we see in everyday life that white lives matter? Like, let's be
That's
honest here. This is America. Do white lives not matter? But once you identify something that's obviously true, and make you simultaneously identify something that's the opposite of it. So that's the thing with our people is even sometimes even myself and people like me, sometimes we respond emotionally first, and we don't think rationally. If white lives matter, which we all know they do, then the opposite and equal is that in this society, black lives don't matter because they haven't. And instead of people focusing on that and saying and they didn't, they just use it as an occasion just to cry this and that third. But nobody ever says anything about white people who wear Black Lives Matter shirts. Why are they wearing Black Lives Matter shirts? Do they really think Black Lives Matter, or are they clout chasing? Do they really think Black Lives Matter, or do they want to use Black Lives Matter for a reason to bring in the LGBT or whatever fucking agenda they got? You know what I'm saying? Because if Black Lives really matter to them, would there even be a need to have the Black Lives Matter T-shirt? You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think he was doing. But at the time that he did it, I ain't gonna lie, even myself had an issue with it.
Interestingly, so there's two scriptures that come to mind because what Kanye did, man, that thing hit a chord in me spiritually, and it showed me that wow, there's some people in the celebrity ranks. Because there was a long time ago, God had showed that to me, man. I never told anybody that, but He had revealed that to me, and those are the months where I was isolated away from everyone because I had like a really close connection with God. And that's the thing, when you're isolated, you can have a relationship with God on a level that you wouldn't normally have because you're in a still mode. You're not dealing with nobody. And I remember in my spirit, He told me, there are some people in the celebrity world that are His. I didn't know who they were. I could not identify them. I couldn't put a name to them. He didn't tell me their names, but He said some of them are His. Um, and He has some of them in those positionings for a reason. And it's not going to manifest itself until the time comes. So it's interesting when you see something like this with Kanye West, because that's like the chickens coming to roost in that moment that I had with God. And it's powerful to me because it just shows you how when you say something, words can have effect. And it still shows you that the word of mouth is still the most powerful tool on the planet, because it was the same word of mouth that LeBron James used that got Kanye West in this domino effect to where now he's losing situations after situations. And it was the same truth telling fashion that Kanye West stated with his own mouth that got all of these people up in roar. You see, when you tell the truth about your heritage and your spiritual lineage, It is like the scripture, man, in Hebrews 4:12, for it says the word of God is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even unto the dividing asunder of the soul and spirit and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and the intents of the heart. Because when you tell the truth, it affects you on a cellular and a molecular level. And this is what's happening. You have a lot of people from a cellular and a molecular level right now that are impacted by the words that he actually said. Oh no, don't let him talk to these, what I would say, counterfeit Jews that's in Israel, right? And Israel's not even a place. Israel's a people. You read your Bible, you know this. You know Jacob was the name prior to him being converted into Israel. God gave him that name. So the name is for
Yeah,
people.
well, is a people first. Then it was a place.
Then
But
it
the
became a place.
but the people
But it
who live
became a
there, the
place.
people who there now, they're not the real people.
It became a place, but it became a place based on the forefather
Right.
who had the name and the basically what we would say the inheritance that God gave him. But when you trace everything in the Bible, people is valued over the place all the time. Like even in the New Testament, when they talk about, the body of Christ, are they talking about a temple? Are they talking about a building? Or are they talking about you? And that's where we miss. And a lot of people that have been moved, i.e., the busybodies, us, that have been moved from one place to the other, that are considered Hebrew Israelites, true Hebrew Israelites, because there are historical datas and facts of slave masters, i.e., Christopher Columbus, i.e., Ponce de Leon. Go listen to some of their wordings, their verbiages, and documents that they've written. They said, we removed. That's why I said, Richie Rich, I want you to study this, man. Ross know what I'm talking about. You'll see in their words and their terminology where they said, oh, this is the account of the Hebrew Israelites we have that's going to go to Brazil. That's the exact word that came out of their mouth. Who are they talking about when they say this is the exact count of the Hebrew Israelites that's going to Brazil? They're talking about
Right.
the slaves. That's the only people they could be talking about, because that's what they were into, slave trading. So it's interesting how they moved. If you connect it with the Bible, God talked about how his people was going to get scattered. And when
Mm-hmm.
Kanye West said slavery is a choice, this went over a lot of people's heads. That's connecting it to the Bible because it is true. If you look at our ordinances with God, every time we disobey God through rebellion or through what is called sin, rebellious nature, he gave us to the hands of the enemy. And what did we become? Didn't we become their slaves?
Yep.
So that's what happened
Every time.
every time. So that was a choice. This is what he's talking about.
Yep. And also on top of that, um, you can't. And this is why I've been so amazed at how emotional our people get without thinking. It's mind boggling. You can't say on one hand, uh, much love to Harriet Tubman, much love to Nat Turner, and then say slavery wasn't a choice. Because if these people made a choice to run away in a fight, then it was a choice. To remain a slave was a choice. If people
Exactly.
have the choice to fight, if Haitians had a choice to fight, then there was a choice to remain, right?
Exactly.
If Jamaicans had a choice to fight, there's a choice to remain. If Nat Turner and them had a choice, because there was a whole lot of uprisings in America, our history just don't cover them. Denmark Vecchi, Nat Vesey, Nat Turner, and a myriad of other people made a choice to say, I'll die first, then there was a choice on a spiritual and on a natural front. There was choices on both sides. People don't want to think. They want to live and they want to respond in emotion.
This is pivotal and critical because this now shows you why the Bible is so true and why we as a black people, the reason why black people are stuck on stupid and the reason why black people don't know their history is because they don't stay ingrained in the Bible, man. You want to know your black history? It ain't in no damn history book. Your black history is the Bible. That's the black
Mhm.
man's black history. Ephesians 6 2, Ephesians 6:12 through 13 says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." Operative word, spiritual wickedness in high places. LeBron James is a spiritual wickedness in high places. Token Negro. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. Well,
Mhm.
Kanye West tried to put on the armor of God, and he's been holding on to it. But look what's happening right now. He's dealing with his flesh and blood wrestling that he has to deal with. He has to carry his cross right now because he said something that is supposed to open the eyes of our people. Our people have been put under shackles for so long. We've been stripped of our spiritual lineage and heritage, man. And God showed me that we were the black Hebrew Israelites. That made me cry, man. Because I'm
Right.
like, so we the real people? He's like,
Yep.
yeah, you the real people. That made me cry. Because that's when I said, okay, we are oppressed. We are this is why we're in the positions that we're in. This is why my life has been the way it's been. This is why I get the driving while I'm black. This is why I get marginalized as a black person. This is why when I grow out of afro, this is why when I grow out my beautiful black hair that they want to call naps, but really is basically what you would say wool hair, the most
Right.
beautiful hair on the planet, they want to get mad. It's because
Right.
I'm a Hebrew Israelite. That's what it is. Oh, okay, God.
And they mad because they know that stuff. Just that step alone is is a step in a reconciliation with your creator, right? I'll give y'all a story. I remember people don't know how much gaslighting and how much manipulation, and how much racial oppression you are under when you are in a leadership position as a black man in the military. I remember it got to the point where I couldn't even like I couldn't function at work unless I was, um, like like the work put us at work drove me into reading the scripture heavy. That was the only thing that could make me keep my sanity. And at that time, I had finally got the approval I could go ahead start growing my beard out. You know what I'm saying? Um, and I remember that's a commandment that you keep. If people don't understand that you're supposed to have your beard. It don't necessarily got to be a big. You're not supposed to be shaving. You're never supposed to be clean shaven as a Hebrew. That's against our our traditions. But anyway, as I started growing it out, the actual scriptures in the Bible started meaning other things to me. You know what I'm saying? And that's when I came under the realization of what things is. But another thing I started to realize when I started growing out my beard, I started getting treated differently by white people. I was
When you
already I was talking about openly treated different.
when you grow your hair out as a black person, and that's why I told my brother Richie Rich, start growing your beard out. When you grow your hair out, I'm imploring everybody to do that. I'm not telling you to go get dreaded or whatever. But as a black man, if you bald, you bald. But you got to have some kind of hair on your body, facial hair or hair on your head or a combination of both. When you grow your hair out as a black man, that's why Jesus was fully bearded. That's why the apostles were fully bearded. There's a reason for that. That's why Samson was fully bearded. All of the Hebrew Israelites. There is wisdom, knowledge, and understanding even in the DNA, the molecular structure of your hair. So as a black man, when you grow your hair out, you're growing out the knowledge, the wisdom, and the understanding. That's why I don't even cut my hair no more like that. Because once I came to that understanding, of learning my lineage and learning how us as Hebrew Israelites, the power is in our hair. That's why I tell any woman that I'm with, sisters, I want you dreaded. I want you in your natural element. I want you in your natural hair. Any woman that I'm with, they get natural when they with me. Because when you're in your most natural state and you're in your most Hebrew state, you're in your most open, woke state. You're in your most inclined state, and you're operating under your own, in your most natural state of who you are as an individual. There's a lot of natural remedies that we do as Black people in all genres. That's our Hebrew lineage that we're just not understanding and tying it to us as Hebrew, the way that we are. We have a lot of kosher things that we do, and we don't even know that we're doing it. If you really pay attention to your nuances, you can tell you are a Hebrew Israelite. Right. Because there are moments when you fast, there are moments when you get away from things, there are moments when you basically take time for yourself. There's moments when you engage with people. These are all Hebrew Israelite tendencies. So when they take this away from us and they tell us that we are not the original people, and they try to tell us that we are not God's people, that's false. So when Jesus was saying the student is not above the master, know that they first persecuted me and they will persecute you. So deny yourself, take up your cross and follow me. He's talking exclusively to his people, because that's what they did to him. As a Black man, that's what they did to him. Could you imagine? Jesus was the most powerful Black man that ever walked the earth. Could you imagine a Black man having that wisdom, that knowledge, that understanding, and saying that he was the Son of God? No, 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 no. You can't be the Son of God. That's why they beat him the way that they did. That's why they crucified him though. You think they did that because he looked like this basically Cesar Borgia guy that was a homosexual, a flaming homosexual? Yes, I'm gonna say it. He was basically Leonardo da Vinci's flaming faggot. They were fucking each other. Yeah. You think Jesus was that? That white image, the whitewashing that they did to make you think that that is what Jesus was? No, he wasn't that. Can't be that. Because how does homosexuality and Jesus go together? It doesn't fucking go together. Right. It don't even make sense. But they didn't like the fact that this Black man had all this knowledge, all this wisdom, all this understanding, and for him to be so bold in the way that he talked and say, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father but by me, but through me. Man, don't even get me started. Anytime I quote scriptures, I get goosebumps. And you saw what they did to him. You saw the stripes they gave him. You saw the beating that they gave him. You saw the way that they marginalized him. Well, all of us have to take on our own cross, and all of us got to carry it. And right now, Kanye West decided to carry his cross at the ultimate level and saying something that is taboo, that is not supposed to be said. That we as Black people are Hebrew Israelites. The more we come into that knowledge, the more we come into that understanding, the more we come into that wisdom, the more we are enlightened. And what's bad is our own Black people are telling us to silence ourselves and say, well, you see, he shouldn't have done that because, that's why he's losing his money. This is what you call token slave-minded Negroes that don't know better. And they're going to continue to be bought and paid for by the white man. So LeBron James showed you that he is the ultimate token Lebackstabber. He is the ultimate token Negro that they used. And what better way to showcase that? Like Ross said, what more surreal way, what more exposing way could you showcase that than what he just did to Kanye West?
Man, it's crazy, bro. It just hold on. I keep coming in speaking and shit. I ain't letting Richie get in there. Richie Rich.
I'm here. Yeah, man. It just goes to show you guys, as I mentioned before, you know, how this world is. You know, is this. You know, Kanye, he's like says he's taking up his cross, and he's being they basically trying to see if they can crucify him, man, like they did Jesus. You know,
They're making an example out of him. Yeah,
they're trying to make an example out of him.
That
But
gave me goosebumps when you said that, man. You got to say that again, man.
they trying to crucify him like they did Jesus. That's exactly what they're trying to do.
that's right.
And it's sad that he only has one supporter in Antonio Brown.
Yep.
AB.
Antonio Brown stayed with him.
Yeah, Antonio stayed with him, man. He don't normally say Antonio Brown. He's always like joking,
When
but
you
he
say
came out.
LeBron is the greatest, you are a fucking slave. You are a slave in your mind. You are the reason. You are the reason why we go through the shit that we go through.
Yeah, yeah,
And you
yeah,
need to,
man.
and you need to go crawl right back into the hole that you came out of.
Yeah, man. We got to make sure that we ignore these trolls, man. We got to
Yeah,
make sure, man. Rich, what you were saying, bro?
not that statement. AB. He always like in a like a playful, goofy mode, but in this mode, he was like more serious because he came out with a statement that showed his support of Kanye. It's basically saying, over the past few weeks, the world, they've been reactionary and selective. They've had selective outrage about the comments that Kanye West said. It flamed and sparked rampant conversation and reflection. He said he too have been able to reflect on statements that others in my circle have made that lack clarity in expressing my stance. The people and brands that have relentlessly profited from black ideas and black culture chose to distance themselves at a very specific time
Right.
that demonstrated their prioritization of certain groups over others. None of
Mm-hmm.
us in this world are free of judgment, yet we live in a time where scrutiny and pessimism have driven our dialogues on cultural issues towards diatribes. Sensationalism and groupthink have forced people to not speak their minds and act out in fear rather than love. For
Mm-hmm.
these reasons, I stand by my dedication to freedom of speech, thought, and opinion. I actually seek to coexist in places where I have a difference of opinion because it's a diversity in thought that pushes humanity forward. Let me be clear: discrimination of any kind is an injustice to all people, which is exactly why I wish to issue this statement. I remain true to the mission of Donda and our amazing staff and community. I will stand with my brother, Kanye.
Yeah, man. It's crazy that you said what you said earlier when you said like Jesus, because while we know these are different people altogether, what you have to understand is the cycle remains the same. If you are familiar with the persecution of Yahushua, who they call Jesus, then you will know that it's the same. So you reach your peak, you get to your peak, then they try you in the court of opinion. Then they get people to bear false witness on you. Then they get people who's supposed to be close to you to turn on you. Then they use all that to get your own people to suggest your death. Then they kill you. That's the cycle they've been using for all of our own people, for all of our celebrities or great people, whoever who have spoke out against the system.
They use the Yahusha. They
It's the
use
same.
the Yeshua. They use the Jesus blueprint.
It's the same cycle. Just think about it. Just think about Daniel. What they did. They try to make Daniel look bad. the court of public opinion. They conspired behind them, right? You know what I'm saying? It's the same cycle over and over again.
That's true. Because when Daniel, Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego was around, they the other people that saw these black Hebrew Israelites were raised to the highest levels of provincial positioning. They were the fairest looking men, the best looking men off their own Hebrew diet. Daniel recommended we just drink water and eat from our diet. We don't need to eat from the king's meat. We don't need to eat from that. Because the reason for that is because the Hebrews had a certain way that they governed themselves dietarily, and they
Yeah.
didn't need to eat the stranger's diet because the stranger's diet even took them spiritually from them connecting with God. And those guys came out 10 times better looking, 10 times wiser, 10 times stronger, 10 times smarter. And they couldn't help but to hate on these guys. Even with them being able to reveal, even with Daniel being able to reveal all wisdom, all knowledge, all understanding, all interpretation of dreams, even with these guys having all wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and teaching these guys things that they didn't even know because they have all wisdom, knowledge, and understanding from who? The ultimate source, God, because these guys are connected with God. They basically said, nah, Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, we're going to throw you into a fiery furnace.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't know that there was another person whose image was the image of the Son of Man that was there to protect them, was like the Son of Man. When they put Daniel in the lion's den, you would think lions, ravening lions, would be able to, that haven't eaten, would be able to eat you. But now these lions became like they were still, became like they were quiet. They didn't even look Daniel's way. They came, they saw Daniel, and they saw Daniel was petting the lion. This is what they do. Now, I'm using those illustrations and those stories to show you the better aspect of it because I would want for Kanye to have that kind of storyline. The Daniel, the Meshach, the Shadrach, and the Abednego, where they try to marginalize him, but he comes out victorious. Because sometimes it does happen like that for our people.
He's been having that storyline. Every time some shit like this happen, he always end up coming out on top. You know what I'm saying? So he's been having that. This time, he's totally aware, and but people don't realize this. Kanye's not being marginalized because he called it out Jewish people. People have called out Jewish people before. He's not being marginalized to this degree because of that. That's their excuse. Why they do things and why they say they do it is two different things. He's being marginalized at the point where he's being marginalized is because he dared to say that black people are the real Hebrews. That they can't deal with. Because if we're the real Hebrews, then who are they? You know what I'm saying? And then because thing is, this whole system works, and this whole system is sustained by black people not knowing who they really are, not knowing their power, not knowing that they're supposed to be united and not killing each other, not knowing that they're supposed to um build with each other. Think about it. The whole reason why this system works is because black people don't build with each other. I'm talking now. I'm not talking about the few instances where we do. Yeah, I know it's always it's always the butt crowd, the people who try to look for the small, minute times where something doesn't fit the norm. I'm talking about
Exactly.
the absolutely norm. I'm talking about the absolutely norm, the probability of it. Black people on a normal basis don't work with each other. We kill who? Each other, right? We don't trust who? Each other, because we're black.
And
We're not.
we're conditioned to marginalize each other.
We haven't accepted that we're Hebrew, and once you accept that, that in itself changes everything. Because now you're not a crayon color.
And I'm gonna tell you,
Now you're not.
once you come into that conclusion where you realize that you are Hebrew, that's when you really start feeling persecution. Ross know exactly what I'm talking about. When you come into that conclusion where you know you a black Hebrew Israelite, and then you start operating in that manner and you start operating in that fashion, you're gonna start feeling the weight of that cross that you carrying like you've never felt before, and you're gonna start feeling persecution on a level you've never felt before. I'm
Right.
telling you.
And that's the reason why it's coming at Kanye right now so heavy. It's because it came at him before, but before he was just standing up like for what's right for him and what's typically black issues, right? He wasn't standing in the essence of being a Hebrew. Now that he's standing in the essence of the Hebrew, he's feeling the full brunt of it. But at the end of the day, we we're always gonna be the victors. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
that's
because I have my hair grown out like a lot. You guys haven't seen me in months, but I look basically like, you know, a black Hebrew hippie. And I was at the gym, and there were, one person made a comment and said to me the other day, why you don't have the haircut you normally have? You just look unkept. I said, what the fuck do you mean unkept? Oh, you just don't look kept. You see, this is the shit that these people try to do. And this was a white motherfucker that said that shit to me.
right.
It took everything in my power to not go extra, but I did it in a very soft way. I was like, the fuck you talking about? I said it just like that. Because I know when you talk to them that way, it shakes him a little bit and he walked the fuck off.
Yeah.
But it's, why would you come to me? Why would you feel the need to tell me why do I look unkept? Is because they've conditioned you as a black person in your mind for you to look a certain way that they want you to look, that's pleasing to them, or in a way for you to look that's inviting to them.
Right.
And if you look like your natural self, or you look like a state that showcases your true identity, they get offended by that, and it rears their ugly heads.
They get a thing about it is they know that you're closer to the truth. You know what I'm saying? They know that you're closer. Why you think when you enlist in the military, the first thing they do, reminds me, they do this for all people, but it's a part of any psychological control. The first thing they do, the first thing any cult leader would do, would make you shave off all your hair, facial hair, um, your hair on your head, make you
Facts.
shave all that off. Then take anything that identifies you to be different. Take that away from you as well. Basically, strip you of all your identity that you were before you came into the cult. And in America, ain't nothing but a big cult. And for it to work, you have to kind of disavow, especially if you're black. You got to kind of disavow your nationality. You notice uh, on a general purpose, everybody identifies with just like black and white people identify with color, but specifically, it's okay for white people to identify as their designator. So it's okay with white people who identify as a color, in a general purpose, to say I'm German American, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. I'm German, but it's not okay for a black person to say I'm a Hebrew. People don't realize it's all because these people who are in the Bible, and these people that are um, in these documents a long time ago still exist. People just call them something else. So the Hebrews are still here. They call them black. They call them Dominican. They call them Puerto Rican. They call them Haitian. Right? They call them it's just like there's white people and there's real Hebrews. You got Spaniard Puerto Ricans that's really white people. You got Spaniard Dominicans that's really white people. But
Exactly.
the real Hebrews, God said the people who know, the people who know me hear my voice. So a white Dominican or a white or you know what I'm saying they're not gonna take in that they're Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't hear
Mhm.
God's voice. That's how you can know the people who know the truth and accept it. Those are the ones. That's how you can know. That's how you could tell the difference. You know what I mean? Because you got some people who say, "Oh, well, if you're light skinned, you're not a Hebrew." That don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? It's all about how. It's all about if you who God chose, you're gonna hear it and you're gonna accept it. You know what I'm saying? If you're not, some people God like only it said only a third gonna make it. So some people could hear the truth every day and they'll never accept it because God didn't choose them. Whether they're Hebrew or not, they're not gonna accept the truth. You know what I'm saying? So they're not chosen. It's just that simple. Many are called, few are chosen.
When you live an anointed, chosen one's life, you're gonna always do a life of persecution. I have people on YouTube in the YouTube world, all because now me and Ross have taken our anointed and chosen stance against this whole bullshit with Black Prime or whatever. You know, I have death threats. I always have death threats. I don't know. Ever since I've been on YouTube, I always have death threats from people. The latest one is, "Oh, nerd, if I ever see you in Alaska, I'm gonna blow your fucking brains out." That's the life you live as an anointed chosen
Over
one. You're
what?
gonna have
Over
death threats.
over Bud Crawford?
Exactly. Because this is the thing, Ross. It ain't even about the topic. It's about
The truth.
the fact that people cannot stand the truth. Thank you. You said it. When you tell the truth, the scripture just said it. Hebrews 4:12. The word of God is sharp. It's quicker than it's sharper than any two-edged sword, man. It pierces your soul, spirit. It pierces your joints and marrows. It's a discerner of the thoughts and the intents of the heart. People say they want the truth, but he knows everything is a heavy-handed motherfucker. If you know me, you know that. I've had my own boys get into it with me. Shit, Ross has gotten into it with me. Ox has gotten into it with me because I'm a heavy-handed motherfucker. That's who I am. That I have even the closest people to me get into it with me because I'm heavy-handed. That's how I am. That's how I'm wired. That's my mentality. So when you think I'm heavy-handed with one person, I'm gonna be heavy-handed with the next. Like I keep the same energy with every motherfucker. Now, can it be extreme? Yes, I'll admit that. Can I go overboard? Yes, I'll admit that. Shit, I've been heavy-handed with Richie Rich. Richie Rich knows this better than anyone because he's known me for 40 years. I'm a heavy-handed motherfucker. That's who I am. But one thing everybody could say about me, and they'll respect that, even if they may not even be talking with me or whatever, they know I mean well, and they know I'm coming with that truth, man. I'm coming with that heat and that fire. And they can handle it. The Rosses of the world can handle it. The Oxes of the world can handle it. The Richie Riches of the world can handle it. They'll be mad at me for a time, but they can handle that shit. But imagine them at their level and their strong fortitude and their strong will and their strong mental still kind of being mad at me, but handling it. Now imagine motherfuckers that are not built like them, that don't want to hear that shit. That's why I get death threats. That's why I get the shit that people say, because it's not because of me. Who the fuck am I that people want to give me death threats? It's because of what I'm saying and the power of what I'm saying and how I say it. Because when you tell the truth and you're a truth teller, you're always going to carry that everywhere you go. Richie Rich saw this, man. I think that was the day, and Richie Rich could attest to it. That was the day that he was proud to say, man, that's my big fucking brother right there. He saw, I went to the job with him. I ain't tell you this story, Ross, but I took Richie Rich to my job, and this was like an executive vice president or whatever. And Richie Rich, remember, this motherfucker was talking too sideways out of his ass. I hate people that are French straddlers. I don't deal with people like that. Don't play this game where you talk one way with me and then you talk another way, behind me. I don't play that. When you talk with me, you gotta talk straight. In Haitian Creole, we say "papa le cochi." That means don't talk too sideways out of your mouth. If you gonna talk to me, give it to me straight. This motherfucker was talking too sideways out of his mouth, and I checked him in front of everybody. I checked him in front of everybody, his bosses. I checked him in front of his subordinates, but I was in the right to do that because you not giving me direct instructions, but it's the way that I did it. I'm like, man, you all over the place, man. You need to tell me straight up. If this is what it's going to be, this is what it's going to be. And then he was like, "Who are you to tell me?" I said, "Who are you to sit there and not give me clear instructions? Aren't you supposed to be somebody in your position?" And I would imagine in your position, the instructions should be coming clear from your mouth. See, a lot of times people have a position, but they are what we call face value position. They don't even have the wherewithal. They don't even have the knowledge. They don't even have the capacity to be in the positions that they're in. You could tell they're just basically there to be there. They're face value. And that's how I revealed them. I revealed them as a face value dude. You know that dude that I checked that day? Come to find out, he was in all kinds of shit at the job. That's why I knew. And that's why I realized people that are French straddlers are always the worst type of individuals. They always in the shit. This motherfucker was stealing money from the employees, taking money from their paychecks, cutting people's hours. And the job didn't find out about this until after he did so much damage. And then they end up firing him. And then they put him on what we call small liens, because motherfucker doesn't spend all his money, so he don't got no money. So they put him on a small lien for the rest of his life, to where he got to pay back all the stuff that he was stealing, because he was stealing money even from the company.
Right.
But if I didn't expose him the way that I did that day, it wouldn't have shed the light. And all I remember is my brother's mouth dropped because he couldn't believe that I was talking to the dude like that. And when we walked out, he was like, "Damn, man, I knew you was blunt, but man, that was some cold shit right there, man." It's one thing when you know how your brother is. It's another thing when you see it firsthand. That day, he didn't say too much, but I knew that day, it's like I earned stripes as a big brother to him. I earned his ultimate respect.
Let me guess, this dude was white.
He was a black motherfucker. That's the thing.
Even worse.
And it's because, and the reason why that's even worse, and the reason why I'm saying that is because this dude was your typical LeBron type nigga. And all I did was just Kanye West his ass. Exposed him for what he was.
Yeah. The thing is, the scripture said, who, how does, hold on. I hate to misquote scripture. I don't take that lightly. So let me look it up.
Yeah, just go Google it, and you can say it. Richie Rich, you got anything to say while Ross is trying to find the scripture?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Speaking on the point that what you guys were talking about, man, it's just crazy how this world is, man. But things are being. I feel like we're in a time where things are prophetically being, exposed. Things are coming to the light, and
I got.
You got the scripture.
Yeah. So Proverbs 20:24, man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? So like all these lofty plans we do, all the shit you decide to do is already ordained and God got you going that way. So like the fact that Kanye, out of all the things he could say, he could just be saying, "Man, these people are not doing right by me. They're stealing my designs." So that'd be it. He'll still be right. But the fact that he has the unction to say, and believe it or not, really that's God's allowing him to be in those predicaments, so he can say that. Because now they trying to make it to be about something else, but the knowledge is out there, right? The interview is out there now. You know what I'm saying? It's out there. It's out there. Him saying that is out there. This is not the first time he said it. This is the first time he said it on this platform. It's out there. Now that gives credence to all the brothers you see doing the work out and about in the highways and byways. You know what I'm saying? Because now somebody of influence is saying the same thing. It was easy to ignore the brothers doing the work when it was just them because, black people, we always think everything's funny. You know what I'm saying? These niggas who if there was all that, then how come they don't got no church like TD Jakes? You know how black motherfuckers, we think everything is about status. Now
Right.
somebody with status, with somebody that is affluent, somebody who black people worship, billionaires, is now saying the same thing and willing to give up everything to stand on that. You know what I'm saying? Because thing is, some people say shit and then they get on their knees and start sucking dick like Nick Cannon said it, but it didn't it didn't resonate because 2 days later they made him get on his knees and apologize. You know what I'm saying? But
You
Kanye
know,
was Kanye said it. That Kanye said it. Then they brought him on the show and asked him to
mhm.
apologize. And he said, "Nah, I refuse to apologize." He said, "I'm not going to apologize until y'all make." He said, if y'all want me to apologize about calling y'all out, then y'all need to do. He had like a whole list of shit they needed to do that he knew they wasn't going to do.
And you know what's sad about it? And I'm glad you said that, Ross, because now he's at a point in his life where he's achieved everything that he wanted to achieve and then some. Like there's not much for this guy to achieve. Like there's nobody in the entertainment world that's higher ranked than him monetarily wise. He beat all of them out. Number one. So there's nothing under the sun that this man really too much cares about. And he's okay with being a martyr. And you could tell the martyr tendencies when someone's okay with that because they start getting to that point where everything is just I don't care at this point. And that's where he's at. And the sad part about it is when he does become that type of martyr, now you're gonna have all these black people after the fact, because that's what they do after the fact. They did the shit with Michael Jackson after the fact. They did the shit with Tupac Shakur after the fact. Oh, he was real, man. Malcolm X after the fact. Martin Luther King after the fact. Oh yeah, he was talking that real shit, man. He was about that real. We always, most of us are so stupefied, stiff necked, and have wolves over our eyes, man. We lack the knowledge. That's why Hosea 4 verse 6 says, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will reject thee. Thou shalt be no people unto me. Seeing that thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children. That's what's happening with a lot of people. They've forgotten the law of God, so God has just basically forgotten them. So they're in the level of stupefaction spiritually. They can't even see the truth. And then they don't see it until it's too late. And then they come up in the air to gasp for breath, to breathe, and they can't find it. And this guy right here on this status, on this level, you would think it would catch people's attention. But the problem is, and this is what you're seeing in this world, people don't want to hear the fucking truth, man. They don't want to hear it.
No, it caught the attention of the people who's supposed to catch. Those people, 2/3 shall be removed therein. Only 1/3 shall remain. 2/3. I said 1/3 earlier. I misspoken. 2/3 of the people gonna be going. They're gonna perish with they master. They're gonna perish with their oppressor, the one they worship. Two
Ross is
thirds of the
right.
people are will be removed. Only 1/3 will be remain. Only one
Mhm.
third of the people is taking this in because they're the people that's supposed to get it.
Yep.
They're the ones that's supposed to get it. Motherfuckers, it's like they want to. The average black person want to believe in anything to where there's nothing they need to do. There's nothing they need to do tangibly to prove their belief. Like a motherfucker will be like, a motherfucker will say some stupid shit like man, I'm spiritual. I just get up, set on my altar. I set on my altar for the ancestors.
Yeah, they always do the dumb shit. I'm not religious. I'm spiritual. Listen, man,
How the fuck?
religion is. There's nothing wrong with the word. It's like money. Ross explained it so eloquently about money the other day. There's nothing wrong with the word religion. It's people that take that word and basically contaminate it based on their version of what religion is. But the word religion is not bad, because there's a scripture that tells you there's such a thing called pure religion. And pure religion is to remain undefiled and unspotted from the world, and to give to the widows, and to give to those who God sees that are in need.
The people who say I'm not. religious or spiritual, just be the people who want to use that caveat so they could be what's the word? They could be lawless. Think about it. The people who do
That
it, they don't want any structure. So it's not necessarily because they'll say some shit like, "Well, I can't honor that because that was written by a white man." Um, it wasn't actually. It was interpreted into English, but it wasn't written by a white man. What white man would write that black people are the chosen people? That don't even make no sense, right? But leave it let it know the black people they can't fuck with it because it was written by a white man, but yet they follow every other book. A nigga will tell you. A nigga will try to regurgitate to you quick. The Art of War,
yeah,
talking about the 48 Laws of Power. Niggas
yeah.
read books like a motherfucker.
But
Oh,
then I
oh,
realized all of those books are regurgitations of the Bible. Man, let me tell you something. Once I really got ingrained back into the Bible, all that stuff, all these books have become dung to me, man. It's like when the way the Apostle Paul said, man, I consider all the knowledge that I had dung, meaning he considered that shit do shit
mhm.
until I came unto the knowledge of Jesus Christ. When he came into that knowledge, all that other shit before was shit. Once you come into the knowledge of the Bible, man, everything else is shit, man. You don't need nothing else. That's all you need. Because one thing that I like about the Bible, I could read a verse, the same verse, I could read it every day. And every day, because of what I'm going through different in my life that day, it's going to mean something else. It's not going to mean the same thing. If I'm happy, it's gonna mean something in a happy moment for what it is. If I'm sad, it's gonna mean something sad in the moment that I miss. Because in the Bible, it tells you that there's a season for everything. There's a season for you to be sad. There's a season for you to be happy. There's a season for you to die. There's a
Yeah,
season for you to be alive.
a
There's a
time,
season for you to be merry.
yeah, a time to kill.
Exactly. There's a season to kill. There's a season for everything, man. So we can't sit here and act like we're always gonna be in a good place. And just because somebody has the money that a Kanye West has, that doesn't mean he's always going to be, life is going to be kumbaya. No, it doesn't fucking work like that. Everyone has to deal with their trials and tribulations. And right now, he's under the gun of the trial and the tribulation. Because right now, everything is being taken away from him. You know, he actually prophesied this because he said he wanted to live um a very simplistic life, and he started living as of late in his car, because you start realizing, man, that shit has been happening to me. I'm not trying to extra toot my own horn or whatever, but God has blessed me monetarily in certain ways. I don't need to let y'all know my business or whatever, but I've noticed that, you know, I'm not in a position where, like, when you start making certain things, shit don't it's like it's for people that don't make certain things, right? When people don't make certain things, they want everything. But once you start getting to certain levels, that shit don't mean nothing no more.
Right.
Like, you just prefer to just chill. Like, you just prefer to be in the house, you prefer to chill, you prefer your peace. That's actually what I prefer more than anything these days. My peace, my sanity. Because you start realizing all of that material possession, all that, it don't mean nothing because you can't take it with you.
Right.
Dust you are, dust you shall go back. You can't take none of that shit with you, man. So you
Right.
come in like you do with the dust, you're gonna leave with that damn dust, man. And all of that stuff that you supposedly accumulate and you think you have or whatever, man, that shit don't mean shit. But there's only
Hmm.
one thing that means something, and it's the truth of that Bible. It's the only thing that you can hold on to, because those words, you could write it into your spirit. You could write it into your heart. You know how you can know that? Look at how I'm able to remember scriptures in my mind. Because it's embedded in my spirit. Look at how Ross is able to remember scriptures from the Bible. It's embedded in his heart. Look how Richie Rich is able to tell you certain things from the Bible. It's embedded in his heart. Look at how people in the chat are able to know. It's because it's embedded in your spirit. And these are the things that you could take with you for eternity. That's what matters. Not all of this material crap that's going on. All of that is dung, man. It's doo doo. Don't matter. It doesn't mean nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. This been another powerful one, man. For real. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the
Yeah, I
day,
feel like Kanye is in a place where he's he's not focused on the material anymore like that,
right,
you know. And just like you said, man, he's okay with being a martyr, and that's pretty much what we all are supposed to be. If we're gonna follow Christ, we have to be
right.
prepared for that.
Man, listen, man. Hey,
Yeah.
hey, you need to run
Man,
that
man,
back, dog.
man, you
'Cause
probably
right
said
now
it was.
you preaching and teaching right now. I
Yeah,
knew it was gonna come out, Richie Rich. You gotta preach it and teach it. Ross knew what he was doing when he brought you in that last segment. Go ahead, man. You gotta say that again because the people need to hear that.
No, like I said, Kanye West, he's okay. I believe he's not focused on the material anymore because that guy's reached a level. He was on billionaire status. Forbes was saying this guy was a billionaire. His Adidas deal, he had Gap distributing his apparel, his clothes, but since he sees himself as black Hebrew, he knows who he is. Uh, he's not focused on the material anymore, man.
hmm
And he's okay with where he's at right now, and he's okay with being a martyr. And if you're gonna follow Christ, you have to be prepared to be a martyr. That's because just like how they persecuted Christ, they're gonna persecute us in His name.
right,
Mhm.
So that's how this. That's how we're not supposed to be lovers of this world, man. You know, and that's the problem. Just like said earlier, where people don't want to hear the truth because they're gonna be convict. There's gonna be conviction there. They're gonna realize they can't live how they're living. Because if most of the people they're not living for Christ, man. They're just focused on their day-to-day things, on their day-to-day tasks. So when when we hear when the gospel is being preached upon us and we know the gospel, we hear it and it touches us and we know the truth. We know what we're supposed to do. You know, it's a responsibility on us, man, to take that upon, man, and do it.
right,
There's no like running away from it. I feel that Kanye feels that conviction, man, to just finally, do it this way. He's probably just tired of all of it. How he's been living, what he's been through, you know, and it goes all of us have like our own way that we have to get to Christ. He's he's gone through some stuff and he's found his. I believe he may have found his path to Christ. But we all have our way that we're gonna get to Christ. How Christ is gonna use us to get to him. And I feel that when he calls us, like when he really calls us, man, we can't pass up on that. I feel that Kanye, man, he's realizing his situation and he doesn't want to pass up on that. You know what I'm saying? He wants to be able to take this on, how he's taking this on, man, because he knows what he's doing now is bigger than all the stuff he's achieved materialistically, you know.
Hmm.
right. So the thing is, um, they always wanted Kanye to be a certain way, and even black people wanted Kanye to be a certain way,
Yep.
and have put him in a box.
Yep. I've
And
been
he
guilty of that early on.
and he has always climbed out of that box because when you're supposed to be doing one thing, God will not allow you to be comfortable doing anything else.
Facts.
When you're supposed to be headed in one direction, you're gonna head that direction whether you want to or not.
Yep.
You're gonna go where God's telling you to go, whether you want to go there or not. Life gonna
He's
put
right, man.
life life gonna push you that way.
Yep.
In the case of Noah, um, God told him to do something. And God, he's like, man, why should I do that for them people? They're hard headed, they're rebellious, they're not gonna listen. And he went his own way and ended up going where God told him to go anyway.
Yep.
And then died in the process because he didn't go that way. You know what I'm saying? So at the end,
Hmm.
w- at the end of the day, we as black people need to realize that a lot of the the principles that we champion have been given to us by liberals. Like Black Lives Matter was created by George Soros, by somebody that's not even black.
Yep.
And now that why you think it's not even about black people?
Yep.
Because it was created by somebody that's not black. It's a distraction.
Yep. And George Soros used, who did he use? He used the quintessential homosexual black women that already are up in arms against unapologetic black men to push this shit.
To push
And
it.
then they forced it down your throats. Black Lives Matter, but not realizing the homosexual undertones behind it and the non-black undertones behind it. That's why it got pushed to the levels that it got pushed to. It wasn't because it was Black Lives Matter, and you can't be that dumb, that naive, that deaf, that dumb, that retarded, that degenerate, that reject, and that stupid to believe that. It's
All of
because of everyone else that is not black associated with it, and that's the reason why. Notice they only push black agendas, so-called, when there's another agenda there that they want to push. And it's just so interesting that they always want to tie homosexuality with black, as if those are on the same level, or
and
as
then,
those are the same issues. I
right,
always find that to be funny as fuck.
right, man. Like I was saying, so all the original people who was a part of it before it got taken over, they got systematically basically hunted down and killed. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? And then they were replaced with like plants and puppets. You know what I mean? But the main thing about Black Lives Matter is the mission statement, which they have went on to change. Some people call them out, but they have said that they are totally against and they are for the total annihilation and destruction of the nuclear black family. That the
Mm.
black family is no longer a black man, black woman, and child.
Yep.
That the black family is actually black women, and if they so desire a black man, but black women and children, that's the black family.
That's true. That's why you watch most mainstream shows. They have, and I don't know if it's if people see that there's a lot of witchcraft undertones behind it, and they do that to seduce your mind to make you think it's easier. And the more you watch the show, and the more episodes you get into it, the more easier your mind will be okay with it. They always show a black man in a compromising position where he's being emasculated, he's getting fucked in the butt, or he's the
Right,
gay person. I don't know if you guys noticed that. There's this always in the show, you can always find it. There's the black guy who's either the gay faggot friend to the girl, and they're talking about, oh, he's handsome, he's this, he's that, or he's the one that's going down, sucking up a white dude, or he's the one that's basically screwing another male. But you
right,
don't see that they show you positive, natural relationships with a black man and a black woman. And what they did, they've been showing, they've been accelerating. And I'm speaking to Ross's point, is they show you these powerful women that are black women, that they're the ones that are screwing men, and they're the ones that are like these players, so to speak. They're going around screwing men after men after men and using them.
right.
This is the picture that they're painting in people's minds. If you guys haven't been paying attention to the witchcraft and the mainstream nonsense that a lot of these shows are doing. And the more you get into the show, They make that show so good. They put enough witchcraft in that thing. They make the show so good that the more you get into it, the more your mind says that it is okay and it's more accepting of it. And that can happen to any of us if we're not careful. Because the Bible says even the very elect shall be deceived.
Yep. Yep. So right now, a lot of pushback, a lot of black people that's giving pushback on this shit. Really, when you listen to them intently, it's either they're misinformed, they're in emotions, or they're giving the type of response that basically America has molded them to give. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll say some shit like, um, Kanye deserves what he's going through because he got kids by a white woman. What the one thing got to do with another?
Exactly.
What's the one thing got to do with another? And then your stance don't agree with your sentiment. Your sentiment is one thing. Your stance, you got a stance against that, but your sentiment will say it's perfectly fine for Serena Williams to have a white husband
You know,
and
it's interesting that you
have
said
kids
that,
by a
Ron.
white man. It's perfectly fine for any black woman to have. It's perfectly fine for any black woman to be with a white man, but
Serena
and then
Williams.
and then anything they do is cool. But
Serena Williams.
but when a black man takes a stand for something, you bring up something that's totally irrelevant. Well, he got those kids by a white woman, so I can't even like what the fuck do that got to do with anything?
Have you seen Kanye West's kids? Kanye West's black genetics is so powerful. I didn't even know he had a kid with a white woman. His kids are black. They-
When a black man has a kid with any woman, those are black children genetically. Not
You're
the
right
same.
about that. I'm just saying like
It's not
you
the
would have
same with
thought. I'm just saying that you would have thought that Kim Kardashian wasn't even white because I'm looking at North and I'm looking at all his kids. Like they look like my skin color, your skin color, Ross, Richie. You know how kids come out with a white woman or whatever? They come out mixed and they come out like more lighter skin. I don't see that with the kids. It's like his gene pool is so dominant that it doesn't even look like the kids came out through someone that was white, man. That's impressive.
yeah. Well, yeah. Most of the times, kids gonna look like the father. You know what I'm saying? But even if they did look mixed, that doesn't even matter either
Exactly.
because just genetically, genetically, you are what your father is. You know what I'm saying?
That
It's the
is true.
reason why when on the opposite foot, when when other races have children by white men, the children look white. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yep. That's true.
Because genetically those are white children. Even the Bible say that you are known by the house of your father. So all black people aren't all black people, all Latino people, all Native American people aren't Hebrew Israelites. It's the ones who have Hebrew fathers who are Hebrew Israelites. That's scripture.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? That's scripture. So a
Mhm.
lot of the niggas be like, man, I hate my dad, man. He wasn't there for me. They'll be realizing your dad being a Hebrew blessed you.
Exactly.
Your father could have been white. Your ass could have been doomed. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yep. That's true.
Even
You're
though
right.
even though his funky ass wasn't there for you, he blessed you with a birthright.
Yep. Yep.
That shit's
You right
crazy.
about that.
Yeah, man.
Anything else you want to say, Richie Rich?
Uh, I mean, this is just a lesson, man. To us all, man. Like this is what's we have to expect. When we're gonna go against, when we're gonna follow Christ, this is what is expected. So you gotta ask yourself, are you ready? To take this on. You know,
Right.
uh, but you gotta also understand, man, that God is with you.
Mm-hmm.
God is with you. God's gonna be with you through the criticism, through the the long suffering, through the struggle, man. You know what I'm saying? As long as God is there, you're gonna be able to. He's gonna guide you. He's gonna uh, put you in a position where it's not where you're gonna be able to handle the
Yeah.
situation. He's not gonna put you in a situation where you can't handle it. So Kanye being put in this situation, you know, even though he's losing all these endorsements or whatever, he's losing his agency. He's gonna be able to handle it, man. God is gonna put him in a situation where he's gonna be able to endure, and that's what a lot of us are not able to do. We can't endure, man.
Right.
They
That's the
cut,
truth.
man. They cut deep. But yeah, you don't put your little pastor hat on today, boy.
That's the truth. Hey, Dan, and I have one last thing to say before I'm gone. You
Hmm.
gotta take with a grain of salt things that are coming from the same. Damn, who is this lady calling me? You gotta take with a grain of salt the things that are coming from the same media that is attacking him for telling the truth. So
Yep.
things that Kanye West is no longer. How the fuck you going from $11 billion to no longer being a billionaire? That
Yep.
that don't make sense. You're
It
not.
doesn't.
You might not be at the same height you was, obviously, but you didn't lose billionaire status. That goes to show you what this shit all about to begin with. They want this whole time. That's what they've been wanting to say.
Yeah,
You know what
it's
I'm saying?
like just because someone pulled their endorsement from you, that does not mean automatically. That's not how money works. That
Right,
doesn't mean that they automatically did seconds worth of ACH transfers or EFT transfers and all of that, and then the money's just whoop and disappeared. The money doesn't work like that.
no, man.
So I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. When someone pulls something, because they're under a contract, there's still a process that they have to go through and all of that. And here's the thing: even with all of these endorsement guys pulling or whatever, because they're pulling off of emotion and they're pulling off of we don't no longer want to be endorsed with you, whatever. Kanye's still gonna win off on these guys because guess what? They're severing ties not because they're severing it in a favorable way. Both parties are in agreement. They're severing it because of basically public opinion. So
Right,
Kanye is still gonna get a severance package off of all of this shit.
right. They all got to pay
Exactly.
him. At the end of the day, and his assets, his money and his assets are still his money, his assets.
Yep.
Um, um, like this guy's going to show you just how economically set back we are as a people. Like seriously, just thinking of just talking about this because it Gap is set not Gap. No, Gap done already lost like 300 million. Adidas is set to lose 246 million this quarter. That means the next 3 months they're gonna lose $246 million just in 3 months by
Yep.
letting go of Kanye. You know, people are saying Kanye lost $246 million.
No,
Kanye
that
didn't
was
lose.
Adidas that lost that shit.
Kanye didn't lose anything.
Because they have to connect it with the black man who called himself the Black Hebrew Israelite. Once he said that, now they're connecting everything that looks like a failure with him. But here's the thing: one thing that I could say with Kanye, and that's always been his magnetism, is everywhere he leaves, they suffer. Gap has not recovered since he left, and the whole Gap shit, that wasn't because of the anti-Semitic words. The Gap shit was way before that.
Right,
And Kanye made the decision to sever ties from them. The Balenciaga, that happened before this whole shit with LeBron. They're trying to tie everything now with everything, and that's not how it works.
yeah, man. But that's going to show you they know how easily we are led as a people to where we secretly our people have a love hate relationship with the oppressor. It's like we know they're doing us bad, but we secretly just want to be on their good side, man. We
You
secretly
know
just
this
want to be.
because you
We
talked about this so eloquently, Ross. Remember when we talked about Moses' time and we talked about the Israelites? Moses was doing all this stuff for them. He got them out, but they were so gun ho and caught up
they
into
wanted to
what
go
the
back.
oppressor did. They wanted to go back. They wanted
They
to go
want
back to that style of living.
these motherfuckers wanted to go back to Egypt, man.
Yep.
They wanted to go back to getting hit in the head with whips and shit.
Yep.
These motherfuckers, and that's our people, man.
Yep.
off the rip. So these motherfuckers, at the end of the day, they say that, man, these motherfuckers, man, I can't stand it. Yeah, but at the end of the day, who you trying to look like? Who you trying to rub elbows with? Where do you feel like you need to live before you can feel like you arrive? It's always got
Mhm.
something to do with white people, because at the end of the day, you worship and you desire to be white.
I gotta say this, Ross.
The average black person will never admit it. They desire to be white.
I gotta say this, Ross. And I think now this point is gonna amplify both you and Richie Rich. It's gonna make y'all laugh. But now I see why God, even God Himself, was mad at us black people. We are annoying to deal with. That even God was so mad at us, He wanted to do away with us in a flood. You think of God Himself. That's saying a lot, man. That's saying a lot. That we are just so messed up in the way that we are, and so stubborn in the way that we are as black people, that He even wanted to do away with us. Because we could be some annoying motherfuckers, man, when you think about it. And that's why Moses was like, man, Moses did all this good stuff, but God tells him to tap the rock. He hits that shit. Because he got tired of these motherfuckers, man.
Mhm.
I can see that shit, man. The left and right. Moses, man, are you gonna help us to, are you gonna give us our Egyptian customs? Moses, man, we wanted to worship the idols. Moses, what you gave us wasn't enough. We want more. I could imagine this man was dealing with 12 tribes. You fucking know how many people that is.
Right.
And all those times that he didn't, the fact that he was able to endure, and then that one time he got to the point where he got to the rock. I find that funny, man, because Moses Richie Rich, that's our great 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 granddaddy. He's Haitian. He's a Levi. I don't know if you know that. He's part of the Levi tribe. So that's why I laugh. I'm thinking of my great 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 granddaddy getting mad and getting in his little. If you know us about Haitian people, we get in our little temper tantrum. It's over, though. I can see him smashing that damn rock.
Right.
I'm still laughing at this shit, man. It's making me laugh because he's pissed. Like these motherfuckers, they seen God use me to part the water. They seen God feed them fish. They seen God do all of this, and yet these motherfuckers still complaining.
Yep.
Fuck y'all, man. That's what he said. I could see it in that moment, man. Fuck y'all. And he hit that damn rock. And he probably crushed that shit too. Because that staff had the spirit of God on it. I could see him crushing that shit. Boom!
Yep.
Oh man, I just have to say that real quick, man, because that's how annoying we as a people can fucking be. We're so annoying with our ignorance. We're so annoying with our naivety that it is damn near frustrating dealing with us.
True.
True.
Even getting simple information to us is annoying as fuck. It's even got to the point where I start calling my own people simple-minded niggas, simpletons, man. Because a lot of them are like that, man. And I don't mean to do that with my own people, but man, you listen to them. I mean, we talked about that with Terrence Crawford in the tweet that he did. I read a tweet that he did, and me and Ross was laughing. We was trying to figure out what the fuck is he saying. So when it's all said and done, that's why we're in the positions that we're in, because our own people cannot even accept when something is real in front of them. They can't,
Mhm.
because they can't even accept it. It's sad, but that's just the reality of what we're dealing with. It's sad. So of course, every now and then you're gonna have a Moses type that's gonna be like, you know what? Enough, man. Y'all, y'all ain't trying to get this shit. I'm smashing the damn rock. I know God got to take me at that point. God took him. God said, because you smashed that rock, you ain't gonna see the promised land. but God also buried him too. And it be like that sometimes. So when Kanye West says to black people that slavery is a choice, and then you got black people like Sway, and then black people on Drink Champs and all these other people, and then the idiot from TMZ that's an employee. Well, I thought, you're offending us. Slavery is a choice. It wasn't a choice. And then now he has to explain it. Does he really have to explain it?
The poetic justice about dude who did all that, he got fired by TMZ for trying to
Exactly.
stick up for himself. Ah! They use you to berate your own people, and then turn around and fires you. You
And then
bitch
they show
ass
you they don't
nigga.
respect you for doing that. And that's the funny part about it. When you do stand up for them, they turn around and clown you like they clown LeBron. When LeBron tried to sound educated on the whole China thing, his own people that he was being the token Negro for, they outed him. They were the ones that told him to shut up and fucking dribble. Did they not? But you kissing their ass.
Man, shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Shut the fuck up. That dribble, that basketball.
That's exactly what she's basically saying. Shut the fuck up, you nigger, and play basketball so we can enjoy you. That's what she's saying. But you want to stick up for them because you want to bring your brother Kanye West down. If you wanted to show that you were trend-setting LeBron and you were powerful, you got this supposed the shot. This was when you were supposed to say, you know what, we're gonna switch this shit up. Man, Kanye, listen, man, let's have a free fall. Because this motherfucker, when he on the shot, he make it seem like they saying the most lethal shit. And they're not saying nothing lethal.
The shop is so boring. The best episode they ever had is when they had Childish Gambino over there. Shorty from Shorty that's he got money. The viral sensation Shorty, and
Mhm.
I forget her name. And they had Lamar Jackson on there.
Yep.
That was the best one and shit. And and it could have been better, but they were so focused on making LeBron the center of attention that they
Yep.
didn't even take the time to ask the other people the questions that it would take for them to open up.
I like the Jay-Z episode because
I
Jay-Z
didn't watch that episode.
that episode, Jay-Z is such a big figure that is his figure dwarf LeBron. LeBron was kind of like a little kid in awe listening to Jay-Z, and even they were weird. They were all getting weirded out about him talking about the story with DMX, because one thing that I like about Jay-Z is he always admits things. Like if someone's better than him at something, and he said he was talking about DMX and DMX's show presence and his stage presence, and Jay-Z was like, "Man, I'm boring as fuck," and I'm seeing how DMX is able to sway the crowd. He's coming out. How the fuck you come out behind that shit? Stop, stop, shut him down, open up shop, and then I gotta come out and say, "This the hard knock life." That shit was funny as fuck, man. And it's the way, but it was the way that he was saying it, and you could tell even when he was getting like animated, they were trying to censor him a little bit, and you could tell when people are trying to censor you because they start over talking you. Right. But one thing that I like about Jay-Z's personality is you could try to overtalk him, but he's still gonna get his point across. And that's what happened in that episode. He still got his point across, and they just had to eat it and listen to it. Because in that episode, it wasn't about DMX, because of the issues and the struggles that he was going through. He basically took that episode to talk about how this guy is the reason why I even have stage presence, right, because I was admiring his stage presence. And I just like when people have those moments where they can be humble and they can admit stuff about people that have helped them. But that's all I got to say, man. Is there anything else you guys have to say?
Nah, I said everything I had to say.
What about you?
I'm content with what I had to say, man. I mean, this was a good live, man. I mean, a change of pace on what the normal topics that we talk about, but
Mhm.
this needed to be addressed.
Appreciate that. Tomorrow we're gonna have the football fantasy, the fantasy football. It's gonna take place early, right before the Thursday night game. Make sure you guys tune in. Um, right now, Richie Rich is let's see, after the two games, Richie Rich, did you win that last game? Because I got
No, I
the
didn't. I didn't win the Bears Patriots game. We
okay,
all chose the Patriots.
I got you at 19-11. Ross, you chose the Bears, right?
Nah, I chose the Patriots. That's what I was telling you. I
I'm
was texting
18 and
you.
11.
I was texting you. And these motherfuckers are all weeks decided the ball.
Okay,
That
so
shit pissed me off, man.
Ross is at 18-11. Richie Rich is at Ross is at 19-11. Richie Rich is at 19-11, and I'm at 19-11. You see, we all tied
How are we all tied?
because you won one and lost one. I won
We
both.
all we all picked the same teams. We all had
We
the
all picked the same
Dolphins
things. We
and
all
the
picked the same things,
Patriots.
so it should be the same thing that it was
Yeah,
before we went
I
into
should
it.
be up one.
See, man, listen. See,
All
bro,
right, all right, all right.
You those boy.
Richie Rich is 19-11, and me and Ross are 18-12.
18 and 12. Come
18-12.
on.
Yeah, 18-12.
Bro, stop trying to do this, man. As you can see, we too short.
You're trying to see what? What y'all trying to see, man? What y'all trying to see? I mean, if I had an error, I had an error. I thank you for
You have
correcting
a
me,
lot
man.
of errors for somebody that's typically on point. So I don't believe these errors.
I told you we gonna be on that next, man.
So Richie Rich is up 19-11. Me and Ross 18-12. But we on your heels, man. We on your heels.
Yeah, man.
Don't worry, I already know who I'm picking tomorrow.
For sure.
Got my teams down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then Ross, we'll pick up on Friday with boxing, man. We may have to do an impromptu. You never know, because this shit has been picking up, man, on both sides of the aisle. Richie Rich, I'm gonna have you as a special guest on that Friday one too. Because there's just a lot going on, and I want your take. I want to know what your take is on Crawford ducking Spence. I want to know what your temperature is on that. I feel like it'll be a new voice. It'll be an interesting voice, and then we can go from there.
Okay.
Yeah. But all right, man, it's been real. Ross, Richie Rich. If I haven't said this enough, I'll keep continuously saying this. The time that you guys take out of your busy schedule to be a part of these lives, I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys for constantly giving your wealth of wisdom, knowledge, understanding, your experiences, and your contributions, man. It's much needed. I know I've been on a hiatus for a while, but I feel like these lives have picked back up, and I feel like I've been live enough to where it's almost feeling. Maybe some people in the chat could say it. It's probably not all the way there, but it's almost feeling like I didn't even disappear or whatever for whatever period of time. But I wanted to shout outs to both of you guys, especially because once we came back, I feel like we came back heavy. We all came back with heavy swords, and we just came out swinging, man. So I just wanted to give you guys the props for that.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it.
So it's been real. Y'all take care. If it is snowing where you guys are at and it's cold, be careful. And don't walk too fast and don't bump your head. You know what I'm saying? And hurt you guys yourself. And just be easy and be safe. And then we'll return back tomorrow with Fantasy Football Live. All right. Peace.
Peace.
All right, man.
Good night.
Peace.